This isn't worth camping. All right, I am back out on trail. This week I am back in the Suomi Hills, and I hope I'm pronouncing it right because I was corrected on my last video a bunch of times that it's Suomi Hills, not Suomi Hills. It's a Finland name, so you gotta kind of say it in the Finland way. So I'm back out for another weekend to explore this forest. I went back to the North Trailhead like I was at 2 weeks ago. Tried to stay again at that site that's about 5 minutes from the trailhead that was recommended to me on Dr. Lake. And once again, taken sight, but still by the same person that was there 2 weeks ago. Anybody knows the rules of the forest I'm camping, 14 days is your max stay. And what are the chances that they were there? I was there in the morning, so they didn't set up in the morning. They were there at least the day before, and they're still there today. So at the very minimum, they've been there 15 days. So who knows if they've been camping out there all summer and that's just been their house and their home and they're blocking off the path saying, oh, do not disturb. Well, don't disturb because you're illegally camping. So today I came out to the South Trailhead, and there's a campsite on Hill Lake. This is Hill Lake, and this is maybe 5 minutes from the trailhead. And there's a campsite here that it says on the map, but this campsite is not a good campsite. It is not taken care of. It's way overgrown. There's a fire pit out here on the beach, but as you can see behind me right there, there's the sign that says this is a dispersed site that even says 14 days maximum stay. But as you walk in here, I mean, it's overgrown. There's an old fire pit right there. But as you can see, this isn't worth camping. I mean, there's even like a little bog area down there that collects water. There's no water now, it's dry. Everything's so dry out here recently, and the lakes are super low that there's not really any water or nothing down there. But I mean, it's not anything you can put a tent on or anything, so. And I couldn't even find the trail to this site. Obviously, you see by that sign, there's a little trail going into the woods right there. I must have passed it on trail, I didn't even see it, and I was looking for it. So I kind of just been taking the shoreline here. There was a little outlet on the other side of the lake here by the trail, because I just assumed maybe the trail was going to come around and back over here to the campsite, but it did not. So I've just been walking the edge of the lake here, and I'm going to get back on trail. There's another campsite that looks like to be maybe a mile away, something like that, on Lucky Lake. So let's see if I can get lucky on Lucky Lake. All right, I have made it to the Lucky Lake site, and I didn't get lucky at all. There was 2 spots to go down to the lake, obviously both just fishing spots, and the one was beautiful. I'll show it as I'm talking. Came down this hill into some pines, and it was beautiful. If you had a hammock, it'd be a 5-star site, but it was not level at all in any places, so it's hammock camping there or nothing. And then the actual real site is behind me right here. You see that trail going down there, and then the actual site is right here behind me. There's the sign for it. Not much left of that sign, because as you can tell, nobody camps at this whack-ass spot. I mean, there's not even a fire ring here. Not even like an old one. Yeah, there's nothing here. This is just a clearing in the woods, and they obviously don't care about it because there's no sign for the site or anything. So that leaves one site left to look at today on Little Bear Lake. That is also probably about a mile or less from this spot. So today is a day of campsite hunting. I'm seeing a lot of the trail, which is kind of nice. And as you can see behind me, like I've mentioned in my last video, this is a very open, cleared out trail. You know, it's not easy hiking because there's hills. That's the Suomi Hills. That's why it's called the Suomi Hills. But things are very cleared out, like you're not bushwhacking at all. So it's very nice. Kind of reminds me of the Richard J. Dorr State Forest trails. But I will check back in when I get to Little Bear Lake. All right, well, I think I'm calling Little Bear Lake home for the night. There's the fire pit right there. And just a beautiful setting out here. Look at all these pines. Just a bunch of really big pines everywhere. Like, this is just a beautiful spot. And I kind of a little bit debating because it's not totally level. I mean, there's like one spot right here next to the sign. There's like the most level spot. This would be a great, another great hammock spot. But as far as tents go, man, these places just are not very level down by the lakes. I mean, they are spectacularly gorgeous though. I mean, look at this lake behind me. This is like I debated on staying here, but then I'm looking at the lake. I'm like, I've got to stay here tonight. I can't pass this up. This is just insanely gorgeous. So I think I'm going to grab my pack. I had to go, there's a trail. I came in from way over here, and I'd like to know where the trail is to get out of the site because I feel like it was right behind the site here. But there's a tree, two big trees down over here. So I wonder if that covered up the trail to get in because I don't feel like hiking the opposite way around to get out of here. And I still got to go back to my truck and get some more stuff. I didn't expect to be so far away from my truck, but it's probably, I don't know, half an hour back to my truck. But I want to grab my pole, some more water, just some other little things that I kind of left in the truck. I think my drone, I want to grab my drone. So, and what's really cool is across the lake over here, there's already some fall colors starting. There's a few trees that already got some reds on the top and they're turning neon green below the red. So this is just an epic spot. This is better than the last spot. So like I said, I'm gonna set up camp and then I'm gonna run back to the truck and grab some extra stuff. But I'm glad I found a spot. It's getting close to 11 o'clock in the morning now, and I got out here at 9 a.m. So it's been some hiking around and searching around for a spot, but I think I found my home for the night. right, camp all set up, and look at this beautiful sight. I don't know if they can get much better than this out here. That site that I'm missing on Dr. Lake, I can't imagine it being better than this site. To me, this is a 5-star site. This is gorgeous. Look at the lake. All the pines surrounding this lake are just epically gorgeous. This is my type of site. Surrounded by red pines at the site, looking out across the lake to more pines with a beautiful reflection of the lake. Like, this is my type of site. And as far as I can tell, looking around, I haven't done a total look around yet, but no latrine at this site either. A lot of people asked in my last video if there's latrines out here, and so far from what I've seen on all these sites I'm walking around at, that's no go for latrines at these sites. But usually that's not a problem for me anyway. But if it is for anybody else, you bring a trowel, you dig a hole, and cover it back up. You don't just go into the woods and throw some leaves over it and let your toilet paper blow all over the place. Don't do that. So, like I said, I am going to throw my pack back on. I'm going to run to my truck, grab my fishing pole, grab some more water, grab my drone, and anything else that I think I might want for tonight. And then I'll come back here and relax for the rest of tonight. Now, all the other lakes around here, I've been seeing trout lakes signs everywhere, like they're trout stocked lakes. This one I haven't seen any sign. I haven't seen any sign of fish at all in this lake. No jumpers, nothing I've seen in the clear water. So, like, cast a line out there, test my luck. Well, obviously, there is no fish in this lake. I've just walked up and down the entire shoreline on this side of the lake, casting out every, 50 to 100 feet, and not a bite, not a fish following the lure in. I haven't even so much as seen a fish jump on this lake since I've been here. So I've seen some minnows in here. I don't know if that means there's fish. I don't know how deep this lake is either, so I don't know if it freezes all the way to the bottom in the wintertime and kills off all the fish. So I don't know anything about this lake. But it seems like it would be a fishing lake. There's paths, little trails going all the way up and down that shoreline where you can tell people have been fishing. And there's lures I can see, and the water's so crystal clear out here. I can see lures. They're stuck on logs out in the lake. So other people have fished this lake. I mean, like I said, no signs. There's not even bones of fish anywhere. Like someone caught a fish and, filleted them and threw the bones out into the lake. There's just zero signs of fish in this lake. So I think I'm going to stop fishing for a while, relax, kind of just enjoy this lake. And then I'll go try to fish again, I think, at dusk or something like that. I feel like fishing seems to be a little bit better on lakes at dusk. So it is so quiet out here. This was an epic find. So far, this is the #1 site out here at Suomi Hills. This is, I can't put it into words how beautiful this is. If this is not the most quintessential Minnesota lake you've ever been at. All these red pines around the campsite, and then all the pines right in front of you, staring at you in front of the lake. Oh, you got some giant white pines over here, giant white pines over there. You got some color change over here on a little bit on the other side of the lake, which is pretty cool to see. But like I said, I think I'm just going to hang out for a little bit, maybe watch something on YouTube on my phone, hang out, stare at the lake. And I didn't bring dinner tonight, like a big dinner to make. I brought a sandwich again because sandwiches seem to be so nice and easy. So I'll eat a sandwich here in a little bit for dinner, but I'm going to relax. I might even just have a fire tonight too at the fire pit because I think the low tonight is supposed to be like high 40s. So it should be pretty chilly when it comes to be, 7:30, 8 o'clock at night, I would guess. So maybe I'll gather a little bit of firewood here in a little bit and get that ready for the fire tonight. Other than that, Just relaxing at the lake today. Well, I'm just sitting here at camp, kind of hanging out at the lake. It is so quiet and beautiful out here. There's nothing but the sounds like woodpeckers and a breeze every now and then. And I'm convinced there's no fish in this lake. This lake must be really shallow and it freezes all the way to the bottom and kills everything every year because there had all day, not one fish has jumped on this lake. I haven't seen anything come to the surface, no loons on this lake, no swans, stuff that would be eating small fish, no beaver out here. It's just a lifeless lake. It really is. It's beautiful, but I'm convinced there's nothing in this lake. If anybody knows, comment down below if you've ever caught anything out of Little Bear Lake. Let me know. Or if you even know how deep this lake is, let me know. I'd be very curious because, like I said, I'm convinced it's a lifeless lake. I'm going to do some more fishing here in a minute. Toss out the line a little bit and just see what happens, but I'm not expecting anything. I'm totally convinced that this lake is shallow enough where it's just, there's no life in here now. And another thing, right here, when I first got here this morning, I just thought it was like a little hole, and I just looked in here, and it's like a cave in there. I'll show you with the camera what it looks like, but I think this is like a bear den or some kind of den of something because it's big in there. It's a pretty big opening. Like I could get in there if I wanted to. I mean, that's a good size opening. Let me show you. Yeah, so this is a decent sized little cave in here. Like, it's not small. So yeah, that's kind of weird. Man. Those are all dead bugs. There's no fish in here. These are all dead bugs. These are all dead bugs floating in the lake. Like flies. There's no fish in this lake. I thought that was like just like little things that float through the air that have landed on the lake, just plant type material. These are all dead flies and dead bugs floating on the lake. There's no fish in this lake. I don't know if I want to cast this pole anymore. This has got to be a shallow lake. There's no fish. There would not be just dead bugs floating everywhere. I'll grab the camera and show, but there's no fish in this lake. a campfire, watching the sunset behind the pines. It's beautiful. And it's so quiet out here. Not even the sound of fish jumping in the lake. Still, not a single fish has jumped in this lake. That is nuts. And the more I look at it too, I've walked out onto the trees out here. I mean, that lake for sure is deeper than me. Like, it's got to be 7-8 feet just at the end of the trees out there. So the middle of the lake, it's got to be like at least 10-15 feet, and we don't freeze 10 feet deep, you know what I mean, even like that. But I'm thinking that the lake maybe closes in into the one deep spot, and then it just loses oxygen all summer or all winter, and that's how the fish died off. I don't know. There's just no action out here. Nothing. One beaver came into the lake earlier and then came right back out, probably because he realized there was no fish in here to eat. But that is just crazy that there's just, it's like a dead lake out here. It's nuts. It's really quiet though, because usually at this time of night you're hearing all the fish coming to the surface, getting all the bugs and all the fish jumping, but not right now. It's just dead quiet out here except for the bird song, which is fine with me. But I am going to watch this sunset for a little bit, hang around this campfire, and this campfire is nice because it started chilling off. It's 67 degrees now, so it's definitely getting chillier, and you're starting to feel that fall weather, those fall nights starting to come in, which brings me to this Saturday. I will have a little treat for everybody. At 6 a.m., I'm dropping a fall colors video, a collection of some of my footage from last year, a lot of drone shots, and a lot of stuff that nobody has seen yet. Last year during the fall season, I just would get off work and I would just drive around the lakes to up north, to south, to east, to west. I was driving everywhere. Even at work, I was bringing my drone to work. So I was doing a lot of fall colors filming last year, and I haven't even dumped off maybe a third of it. So lots of new footage coming in this fall colors video on Saturday. So be ready for that. And then Tuesday, I'll just have my regular scheduled 5 o'clock at night video. But that's a little bonus video for everybody on Saturday as you start to feel this fall season coming. Like I said, these cool nights. This is my first fire so far since spring. So fall is coming. Alright, well, that is gonna be the end of today. What a wonderful day out at this lake, at the Little Bear Lake that I'm at. Little Bear Lake that has no fish. I'm still just amazed that this so fishy looking lake has no fish. That just drove me nuts all day. But aside from no fish in the lake, it's been beautiful. It's been so quiet out here. It's so beautiful. And I mean, I wish there was like a loon that would have came in on the lake. A few of them have flown over, and I've heard some trumpeters over on the lake next to me. But nothing comes to this lake because there's no food in the lake, I'm sure. But I am going to crash out. So that's going to call it for tonight. I will check back in the morning. Good morning from the Suomi Hills. A beautiful night. Low got down to 57, I believe. So, gorgeous night and a beautiful sunrise that was very short-lived this morning. As soon as the sun came out and lit up the trees and the sky was lit up and it looked all beautiful, that's when the clouds came in, and it's not like dark or anything now, but it was nice having that little morning wake up call. But I am going to pack things up and get going after this hot cocoa, but definitely a beautiful stay out here. This, like I said, so far to me, this is the #1 site out here at Suomi Hills. Still have to check out Dr. Lake, and I think I've checked out, last night I counted, I've checked out 6 of the 12 sites now. And obviously only 2 of the 6 are good that I've found. So I will have to come back out here, hopefully during fall colors, and check out some of the other campsites and hopefully stay at one if they're not like the other 2 that I looked at yesterday. So like I said, I'm just gonna finish up this hot cocoa and pack things up and get the heck on out of here. All right, I am all packed up and back on trail. I am gonna head to of course I'm heading to the trailhead, but when I get to the trailhead, I'm gonna show the sign of the map of this area, kind of show where I was at a couple weeks ago, so then people can kind of get a little bit of an idea of where I'm at, how big the trail is, because Little Bear Lake there was it's only 20 minutes from the trailhead. And the site I had 2 weeks ago, that was 25-30 minutes from the trailhead, so that wasn't bad either. So like I said, when I get to the trailhead, I will check back in at the sign. All right, I'm back at the trailhead, and behind me you can see the bathrooms that are here. So there's bathrooms at the trailhead, but like I said, I haven't seen any latrines anywhere. And here is the board. Look at the top of this. How cool is that? All that moss growing. But here's the map, so I will show you where I was at today, and I will show where I was at a couple weeks ago. All right, I'm dealing with a little bit of reflection on the top here, but you should be able to see plenty. I was at the south trailhead this week, so I parked right here, and there's a summer parking, but the road is a little bit rutted out through here, so I think that's why they closed this down right now for the summer. But you gotta walk through here and then up through here, and that's where I was, over on Little Bear Lake. And I checked Hill Campsite, that's the one that's overgrown. Doesn't look like anybody stayed there in a long time. And then there was one on Lucky Lake. It doesn't show on here though. And that's the one that was like hammock camping only, nothing even close to level on that site. So look online. There's actually more maps online, more sites online when you see the maps online, because like I said, there's one right here and there's one right here, and then you got Little Bear Lake site right here, which none of these are shown. And then last week, I can kind of show where I was last week. I parked at I came in right here. I parked all the way down here at the trailhead. There is a site where you dip in with the canoes, and that's right where the campsite is actually. So I don't really think too many people camp there. That looked like more like parking for people's trailers. But this was the site that somebody has been at for 15 days minimum right now. So I haven't checked out that site yet. But then I came over down here to Kramer Lake. That is where I camped the first time out here a couple weeks ago. So that is the map and the trails of this area. Like I said, if you go online, you will see a map with more campsites being shown. This one doesn't show very many at all. So that's the gist of what I've been doing and the hikes I've been taking and the campsites I've been at. And that wraps it up for this trip. It was a great one. The Suomi Hills is definitely a fun place to be. I'm glad I discovered this tiny little trail system with campsites. Like I said, that's it. It was a good one. I'll see you on the next one.